Okay, so we've just gone live now. So, okay, hey everyone. As some of the regular viewers and users of Facebook will know, we're doing a bit of a live interview series here on the New Zealand Health and Safety Professional Facebook group page. This is all coming live from my spare room in our house, so we may get some disturbances along the way. Over the last couple of days, we've got to meet some of my family along the way, some of our young ones, so it's been quite interesting. Now, today I'm joined by Andrew Stone, also known as Stoney, who is the General Manager of Checkmate New Zealand. Now, I've been fortunate enough to know Checkmate for, gosh, well over a year now, and watched the organisation grow from strength to strength. And so what I wanted to do today was introduce you all to Stoney and to see what amazing stuff that they've been up to in recent days and how they're making a big impact out there. So, so Stoney, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Obviously, I'm at home too. I hope not to have any young kids walk past. I don't have any left.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. So we'll just, I guess it's all organic, right? So we'll just take it as we go.
Yeah, sure.
And also for everyone who is streaming in and listening and watching live at the moment, please, by all means, feel free to put your comments, questions in the comments box directly underneath this feed, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. So I hope this all finds everyone well at home. Okay, so so in terms of how Checkmate has responded to the COVID-19 event, do you want to talk us through the way in which you've answered some of your clients' needs?
Sure. So Checkmate is a remote compliance administering tool, if you like. There's one way to put it. Must remember that. So for customers who now can't get out to their Whakatane store or their Timaru site or their whatever it might be, there's been a few get in touch with us to say, look, can we use Checkmate to ensure that our compliance activities are taking place on those sites, even though I'm not going down to double check on the form in there or whatever it might be. And so there's been a few customers who have been able to extend or implement our services so that those sites' compliance matters can be taken care of and be assured of by head office, even from a remote distance without any real life contact. So we've been able to get some packages away in the mail and then train people over Zoom and the like to implement the system, which has been a very cost-effective way for them to have their key HASWA responsibilities taken care of and in fact evidenced in a way they never could before.
Yeah, no, it's pretty neat wee tool, and I've had a real pleasure using it with many of our clients as well. And then I saw on LinkedIn there was a post where there's been a specific front entrance notice. Do you want to describe that? Because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, sure. So for one of our customers in particular, you'll find it on LinkedIn, it's Placemakers, so there's no real public surprise there. Places wanted to be able to say to their customers when they came to the door for the stores that were still open now that, hey, we've got the best hygiene and cleanliness practices we could imagine, and we're meeting and exceeding those standards. And how they wanted to show that was by having our system there, which is independent to them. And our system's forcing them to say, yes, we have made our required checks to achieve those high standards, and we've performed those at the frequency with which those standards require. And they put that at the front of the store. And it's on a device just like one of these, and it flashes green when it's been done or red if it's not done. And they're making themselves completely transparent. They put a big post around it that says, hey, if this sucker's green, where is it? If that sucker's green, excuse me, if that sucker's green, that means we've done what we should have by when we should have. If we haven't, we're about to.
Yes.
Feel free to let us know if it's red, but it should never be. And they put that up with a fair degree of, I don't know, commitment at least, but a high degree of transparency and integrity so their customers can start to relearn the trust that the environment has been cleaned and disinfected as you'd expect in these days and times.
No, it's really clever. It gives assurance to the customers, particularly those right now who are probably firmly in the essential services world, right? So it'll be those tradespeople that will be servicing perhaps district health boards or hospitals that need things repaired urgently,
Yeah.
who are now going into places, placemakers, to pick up their materials. When they get to the door, they're seeing this really pretty poster that's been put up there to say, hey, look, these premises have been cleaned within the last 24 hours. And there's a big green light to say, hey, look, this has been done. And now the only way that that tool can turn to the green light is once they've completed that checklist using their phones. Is that right?
That's right. And they have to be, the cool thing about Checkmate's technology is it's based on NFC. And if you don't know what NFC is, have a little Google. But basically it means that the human has to be right beside it. They have to have been present and completed the SOP, the correct SOP at the right time to achieve the green light. You can't fudge it. It's a digital system. I can't fudge it. Nobody can fudge it. It's incontrovertible, and it gets recorded by GPS and date and time. So it's a really solid assurance that the HASWA obligations have been met, for one, and for two, that customers can have some confidence that the place has been cleaned and made hygienic to the high standards.
Yep. No, I love that. And so the checklist which the user has access to on their phones is specific to that appliance, and that checklist then speaks directly to the SOPs that have been agreed by head office. So basically, it's covering the whole piece of the puzzle, right?
Yeah, that's Checkmate in its very essence is exactly that. It provides the bookends for the SOPs. We can invest all the time and effort we like in an SOP and all the management and all the training, but if people don't do the right SOP at the right asset at the right time, then all that effort is for naught, isn't it? And Checkmate evidences that. It gives you the proof that, Andrew did turn up. He did do the cleaning and hygiene work, or he did do the pre-start on the wave machine before he went and stocked the shelves, or whatever it might be. And that evidencing is pretty cool, as we all know, under HASWA. And it does cool things for the staff on the floor as well, because less so the act for them. They're going, now the boss can get out of my face, bro, because I got it done and it proves it. It says so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it works on both sides of the coin, both the operator and also the duty holder.
Absolutely. And then in terms of notification, so if we now move over to examples of where we've got these pieces of either the stickers or the LED unit, maybe that's placed on a forklift or a mobile piece of equipment, then when the team are doing their routine checks using the checklist on their mobile phone, if they find something that's not non-compliant, what happens then?
They're required to take a photograph and write a story about it. So if they think the seatbelt's not in good nick, they get to take a photograph and say, hey, I reckon the seatbelt's no good, and say a bit about it. And when they click save, that message and photograph gets sent to the appropriate person in the organization who the customer will have ordained and said, that should go to this person, the asset manager or equipment manager or whomever, to deal with. And the system automatically generates that notification to those people who are accountable for rectification that, hey, there's an issue being noted, best you get on that. And then likewise for follow-up afterwards.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then so at the back end, there's obviously a repository where all this information is stored and the middle management can access and work with. It's a really good use of the cloud, Matt. It grabs the data off those inspections and then pulls them and sits them as an archive digitally for us all to examine anytime we like, and interrogate and download and analyze and do all the things we like to overthink with data. But it does that also automatically as well. So, for example, if I've got a pre-start on a forklift that I expect to be done by 8 a.m. every day, the system sits there and says, well, it's 8:01 and I haven't received that completed checklist. Best I let someone know. And the users will have programmed that and said, let's tell Matt, the supervisor of the team leader of the forklift crew, hey, we're missing an inspection here. So because of that digital database, it gets to perform those rules that we'd normally like them to run like a database should. And it just examines it and says, we wanted this done by now. It's not done. Best we let someone know. And the users can define all those things, be it the timeliness of it or who to tell or what to tell. Checkmate's quite flexible in that regard. Yeah, no, I love that. And
Yeah.
often what I find in my world is there's often a disconnect between what the team are doing on the ground and what
Yes.
middle management and the business leadership think the team are actually doing. And so
Mm.
what this allows the businesses to do is to have that conversation, to stop and pause and say, actually, what are our standard operating procedures here?
Yeah.
Document them, get them
Mm.
firmly agreed to, and then turned into a checklist which the team can then easily use.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it really does draw out those conversations. And it surprised me when I first got involved with Checkmate. I thought this was the big weakness. It was another tool for management to hammer the operators. But the opposite's actually true. The operators tend to get stuck in a bit and go, what on earth do you mean is the wheel in good working order?
Yeah.
It looks right to me. It's kind of round, bro. And
Yep.
and it's a chance for a dialogue about that, to say, what is the real question you're asking? And I had an example of a guy who rang me and said, look, my operators don't understand my question. When I say, is the power takeoff on the tractor in good working order, they give me all sorts of rubbish.
Yes.
And I said, what? And I got him to break it down into a series, 4, I think it was, questions, 4 or 5, about exactly what he meant. And then he got yes or no responses to very precise things. And suddenly it meant more to a lot of people. And everyone got more engaged and more happy and didn't feel like they're having to interpret or guess or wonder or worry. It was just explicit.
Yeah.
And Checkmate supports that level of engagement. In fact, brings it out in people.
Yeah, no, I've seen it too. I absolutely agree. There's been some really dynamic conversations happening on the work floor, involving middle and senior management as well, which perhaps may not have happened otherwise. So it's been really, really awesome. So in terms of the hardware that's needed, so basically it all just comes back to either using the labels that you supply or the LED units. Then in terms of the phones and bits and pieces like that, I'm right in thinking it's Android phones that have the near the NFC.
It's called NFC. Yeah, Apple have them too, but Apple are very precious because they want to use that for their payment system called Apple Pay. So like, I personally run an iPhone. It's no good for NFC because it's no good for NFC because Apple have proprietary control over that, and they'll gradually release the reins, but not enough yet. So yes, an Android device scans these things, and then you have to be right next to them, and it activates the checklist on the phone or the handheld inventory device or the tablet or whatever the Android device type is.
Yeah,
it kicks off the workflow of that checklist.
No, that's so simple. And then I'm guessing on the cloud, this is Naya. Hello, Naya. And then on the cloud side of things, so it's basically username, password, and then they've got access to the back end side of things as well. How simple is that? It's really
it's really simple, and they get to organize the reporting and who gets told about the reports and how often. And very simple access, no personal data held. It's a very simple and flexible, quite powerful system.
Yeah, that's cool. And so, I mean, obviously, in terms of costings, no doubt it will have variables based on the needs and requirements of the clients. But I've been really surprised in terms of the general types of costings that you guys do. So can you share at least some or give people context of what it might cost?
Yeah, so the various types of hardware that they put on assets have a purchase cost, if you like. The most expensive is the one with the flashing light in it, because flashing lights are cool. That's the reason for the price, honest. That's $75. So if you've got 2 forklifts, there's $150 covered. And the others are cheaper. And so there's the physical cost of the hardware. There's a support cost or licensing fee each month for using it, a bit like Xero. And its price can be, if you're Fonterra, out to as much as $500 a month. Our cheapest deployment for our cleaning solution is down in the 40s, $40 a month, $40 to $50 a month. So it's up to the complexity of the arrangements, what that costs. And in the end, it takes a conversation with the likes of yourself or myself to figure what that might be. And other than that, if you need help with refining your SOPs and improving your general structural setup for your SOPs, then you need help from somebody like Advanced Safety, who are really excellent guys and girls at bringing a pragmatic and powerful sense of health and safety into the workplace. And our system really supports their work quite nicely. So using them alongside makes sense.
Yeah, look, thank you. And I agree. I think it's really complemented the service level that we can provide. It's made it really clear and simple for the guys and girls on the shop floor, but also allowed the duty holders at the upper level, the officers of the businesses, to be confident that they're actually meeting their duties, ensuring that the team are adhering to the SOPs, that they've been engaged and have had input in developing those SOPs, and that they're actually happening in practice. So it's a win-win-win, and a super cheap and simple way of doing it. I think that's possibly what resonated with us, is that one, it was really affordable, and secondly, super simple to use. So it's an obvious match, really.
Checkmate errs on the side of being affordable and achievable rather than trying to rake in coins. So if anybody's in doubt, they should talk to yourself or me or somebody and just say, look, what's the true cost for me in my circumstances? Because Checkmate would rather be in use and application and helping people get those SOPs having more effect than not.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think it's brilliant. It's so good. So I've put it out there, folks. So we've had lots of people coming in and out during this broadcast. Is there anyone out there that may have a question that they would like to ask whilst we've got Andrew here? And what I'll also do is I'll make sure at the end of this session that I'll put some links through to the Checkmate website, so you can check it out and see some of the cool videos that they've put together to show you exactly how it all works and how simple it is. And I'll also I'll put a link through to the advanced safety link too, because we've got a little page dedicated to what Checkmate does as well. Basically, combining our two forces together has been really very successful for a lot of different types of businesses around the South Island and a wee bit up in the north. And I think ultimately it's just been the way in which the current scenario, the current situation we find ourselves in, is how cloud-based and really simple tech solutions are really making a positive impact out there right now, which is it's awesome. It's exactly what we need.
Cool. I've also got a set of resources around what cleanliness and hygiene means in these days of COVID. And they'll go live on a website later this week, hopefully, if not early next week. So what does a good cleaning protocol look like? What does hygiene mean to beat COVID-19 in a store?
Yeah, that's brilliant. That would be really helpful for a lot of people.
I want to know.
That's right. We're there's a kind of an avalanche of information out there, but a lot of it, unfortunately, isn't really coming from any reputable sources. So that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I've put in a lot of work going back to the senior cleaning and hygiene experts in science to say what is the correct protocol. Fantastic. And brought it forward, getting it bundled for you right now.
Yeah, good stuff. I'll definitely be sharing that. That sounds amazing. Cool. Alrighty. Well, look, I think I'll let you get back to it. You're obviously an in-demand man. I think it's an interesting time where working from home and trying to obviously balance family life with work life. It's sure we're all going through the same things at the moment. So it looks like there's no questions come through. So I think what we'll do, Andrew, we'll wrap up now, and then I'll make sure we've got some useful links underneath this recording. So
okay, cool. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, well, look, thanks for your time. Good to catch up, and I'm sure we'll speak soon.
Okay, bye.
Fantastic. All right. See you. Bye-bye.